Hi friends, welcome to Cindy's Corner. Hey, it's the end of my work week and I'm gonna wind down and kick back with a snack and a beverage. I'm gonna take you guys along with me, and guess what? It is almost Halloween, so this barely fits into the frame, but I am trying out things that I'm going to use next weekend. So let's get started. We're gonna try some new things. So the first thing we're gonna make for our snack is something called Mozzarella Eyeballs. Aren't these wild? So this is kind of like a little more sophisticated uh, snack salad idea that tastes really wonderful and is not too tough to make. So we're gonna get started on this. Okay, so basically you need just a couple ingredients. And the main ingredient to make the eyeballs are these bocconcini small mozzarella balls. Now they come in water, and on the packaging it says they recommend you use them up within 2 days of opening. So the first thing I did when I opened this is I changed out the water so the water was fresh. Okay, then let me package that up and get that to the side. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the amount of bocconcini that you want to use for your eyeballs and dry them off really well. So I used a clean kitchen towel, but paper towel works as well. You want them to be dry for this thing to work. Okay, so I've got my eyeballs here. Now I'm going to get my plate. For this application, I was just using a light colored plate because we're going to be using some blood to highlight these eyeballs. Okay, so we're going to put the eyeballs out onto our plate. Let's see if they will fit on here. Yeah, okay. You don't want to get them too close together because you want them to kind of show up. Okay, so I've got, what have I got here? 2, 4, 6. I got 6 on my plate here. Okay, now to make the iris of the eyeball, we're going to use black olives. Okay, so you see how the olive is kind of shaped like an oval. Okay, so you have 2 ends. These are pitted olives, and I just bought canned olives, but you can go to the olive bar and get what you like. So we have an end here that is pitted, and it has a big hole, and then the other end, I guess that's where they poked the seed out or something. It has a much smaller end, so you kind of play around with that to see which one you like. I found that the big end was perfectly good, and you don't want to cut too big of a piece. So I would say it's kind of about like a maximum 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and what I liked was I used a different, okay, so this is kind of what I ended up with. Okay, now I like the idea that this is curved this way, like an upside down cup. Okay, and then we're going to place that on top of our bocconcini like that. Okay, so here, so you can see what that looks like without all the next part 2. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so it looks kind of like an eyeball. Okay, so that's what we're going to do to all of our pieces. See, I think that if you kept cutting the same olive, then it would get a little flat on the sides, and I didn't really think that looked right. So I'm going to use a fresh olive for each eyeball, so I can get that kind of concave look. Let's get another one here. Okay. Oh, now I've got some great background music on. I subscribe to Pandora, and so I have the ad-free music. And what I searched for on there was vintage Halloween music, and I just think this is so cute. It's something I've never heard before, and it's just kind of very different. You wouldn't think that music from the 30s and 40s would be spooky, but it's spooky and it's fun at the same time. Could be a nice addition to your Halloween festivities. There's so much different kinds of music for Halloween out there, so you kind of look at what floats your boat. Okay, so here's my last one. Okay, so now I've got my bocconcini with all of their irises on there, each one. You know, this one's going to fall over, so I'm going to turn this one a little bit on there. Okay, so you have to kind of fiddle with them so they don't roll around. Okay, so let's put that away. Okay, now the next thing, oh, my thing is bumping into my cabinets. Okay, this is either, you call this either a flower crown or a fascinator, but it is really fun. I tell you, I love making these things. Okay, so one of the things you can do basically with this is we're going to put like a dressing on top of these, and then we're going to kind of make it maybe more bloody. So I made like a very simple vinaigrette with olive oil, white wine, red wine vinegar, some salt and pepper, and some Italian seasoning. Okay, and I added a couple of drops. I used a red gel food coloring, and I had a couple drops of that to this. Now, what you do now is we're going to pour this over top of these, okay? And you can also pour around the plate so it looks like they're sitting in a bloody mess, okay? Now, what I found helps make the eyeball look more realistic if you take a little bit of olive oil and you drizzle like right into the top where the little iris is, and it kind of fills up that hole, and that kind of adds to the illusion that it's an actual eyeball. It just really works great. Now, what's really fun about this is I can see that the red, oh God, this is so cool. I can see that the red, I don't know if it picks up on the camera, the red is kind of splotching onto the texture of the bocconcini, and it really looks like it's just blood dripping down. Okay, so there is our spooky mozzarella eyeballs. How fun is that? Okay, and if you know, I did try it last night without the food coloring, and then it looks more subdued. So if you're going for something a little bit more sophisticated, then you could just do this. Here, let me just put a little more olive oil on top of that, and you could drizzle some red. See, if you drizzle just the red wine vinegar on it, it looks kind of brownish, and that's okay too. So if you want to go a little more subtle, skip the red food coloring. But if you want to go all out, I say go for it, because that looks like a bloody mess. I love it. So much fun. Okay, so that is our snack for tonight. I just think this is just so fun. Let's look at these again. How fun is that? Okay, so we're going to clear the decks and we're going to work on our beverage. So we got something special tonight. We're going to make a cocktail right out of a fairy tale. So it is, let me put this to the side. It is Snow White's Poison Apple Cocktail. Okay, and let's get my shaker over here. So we have an ice-filled shaker. We have a number of ingredients. So we've got, this is triple sec, so that is an orange liqueur. We've got vodka. We've got some grenadine to make it like a candy apple color. And the star of the show, of course, is some unfiltered apple cider. Okay, now let's get our shaker open and start putting some ingredients in. Okay, let me just move that out of the way. Okay, so what we've got is like an ounce of vodka and a half an ounce of the orange liqueur. Usually when I'm combining those two together, I do half of what I'm doing for half, how can I say this? Okay, say I have an ounce of vodka, I do a half an ounce of orange liqueur, which is what I've got here. So it's half as much orange liqueur. I've got about 2 ounces of the apple juice. And here I've got 1 ounce of the grenadine syrup, which is made from pomegranate juice. and fresh lime juice. Okay, all the amounts and ingredients will be in the description box. Okay, so now we're gonna put the top on, we're gonna shake it, then we're gonna get our glass out of the freezer. Okay, remember, when you shake it till it's really full. Okay, you can tell there's all that condensation on the outside there. So, to make this special, okay, there's my glass. I got some edible glitter. They even have this at the Dollar Tree. And I dipped my glass, the edge of my glass, I dipped my edge of my glass in orange juice, and then I dipped the glitter in there. You can tell how frosted my glass is. And now we're going to pour from our shaker. Look at that pretty, the pinky red color. And then to make it extra special, we're going to take a little bit of the edible glitter. We're going to sprinkle it on top so that you get like a little sparkle on top. Makes it look like it's a potion, a magic potion. Okay. Now we need to get, let me just get a little toothpick here to give it a quick little stir. Okay. I hope you can see this on camera. So it gives it like a little sparkly quality to the top of the cocktail. I don't think it shows up so great on camera, but it really looks great in person. This is a very pretty drink. So here we go. So for tonight, we've got Snow White's Poison Apple cocktail, and we've got our Mozzarella Eyeballs. How cute is this? Cheers, you take care, you have a great Halloween celebration, stay safe, and I will see you soon.